Love is the ability to put another person's happiness or well-being ahead of your own. Feelings of loyalty, passion and duty. Feelings of desire and jealousy manifest suddenly and abruptly. When you love someone, you will embrace them unconditionally, regardless of who or what they are. Greetings everyone, and welcome to our channel. I will share a story about how love moves in every person in today's video. Our story is about a woman who married a disabled person, and a big surprise awaits her on her wedding day. As always, before we begin, make sure to press the like button and subscribe to the channel so that we can bring you more exciting stories like this. If you don't want to miss out on a single one of our uploads, press the bell button to be notified whenever we post a new story. Let me start with how this couple got connected. Two mates who shared a passion for their works with outstanding qualities. As they graduate, they seek a job, but bribery and favoritism are prevalent in every workplace. They didn't give up and landed in a position that makes them praised by many. They engineered advanced construction systems and repaired equipment that broke down in a factory. As a result, they earn enough money and save, then finally start their own company. Since they do their own job with great hard work, the two young men worked together for the following years, resulting from getting many clients. When running the business and designing services, the two young men aspired for their company to grow. When they attained the desired results, they purchased a luxury apartment, decorated it, and agreed to marry despite being too old. After getting married, the two had their own family, and one has a daughter, the other has a son. Yes, this is the reason how many couples met, through their parents. Growing up at the same time gives the idea to the parents that they could engage their son and daughter to each other. Stas becomes a fine young man when he gets older, and Julia becomes a fine young woman. Since Stas enjoyed basketball, he decided to join the school squad. Julia joined the gymnastics team, and the two of them remained together until they grew up and took their final exams. Stas studied at the University of Greenwich in London, England, where he improved his English skills and started to play basketball. Julia chose Switzerland to study at the College of Arts and Architecture, where she learnt both English and French and became proficient in both. When Stas and Julia returned to their country for the summer holiday, they discovered that their parents had a surprise for them. A large, well-designed wooden house in a peaceful village near the city. They can spend their vacations there and enjoy nature's beauty. The house was in a small forest with a lovely pool. Since there was few inhabitants in that village who were all friendly, it was ideal for living and enjoying the warmth. The parents believed that bringing the two together in one position would reinforce their bond and encourage them to consider marriage. As the two bond to each other, they eventually fall for each other. Even after summer and returning to their own lives makes them sad because of their separation. Julia ignored all the guys who approached her, and the same goes for Stas. As the days passed, the two planned on meeting again, and they both agreed. When the pair finally met in Paris, they hugged for a long time and took selfies with each other, and they were overjoyed to see each other and had missed each other so much. That same day, Stas proposed to Julia to marry him. The delighted young woman smiled and hugged him after that. The couple had a lovely evening in Paris, and the next day, both of them returned to university. A few days later, both contacted their parents and informed them that they had agreed to marry each other. Their parents were ecstatic. Both parents decided to arrange a tour for them on a luxurious yacht in Crimea. At the same time, they awaited their return to Russia and immediately transported them to a private plane to Crimea. The two men with their wives and children, a time they had long awaited, so they made sure that the true family had a pleasant journey. When the yacht was cruising in the sea waters, Stas and Julia enjoyed the glorious sunshine. Stas wanted to go into the yacht's kitchen to get a bottle of beer. When he arrived, he reached a huge refrigerator that was overflowing with all sorts of food and attempted to open it. But the floor was wet due to the seawater splash, leading to an accident that left his feet fractured. It leaves Stas devastated because of the upcoming wedding. He wants to break up with Julia, believing that he couldn't walk anymore. But with the help of his father, he found a surgeon that could help him. This gave hope to Stas, but he did not tell about his successful operation to his fiancée because he wanted to make sure that he could walk on their wedding day. After a month, he was finally free and began to stand and walk on them, with delights to his parents, who hugged him for a long time. He then called Julia and told her that the operation that he had had was unsuccessful and that he was in a tough psychiatric condition, and he begged her to marry him. Since she knows it's the only thing she can give him, the young woman accepts the offer of Stas with tears in her eyes, telling him that she was happy to marry him in whatever circumstances and that she would not give up on him. Julia's father and Stras's father arranged all the wedding procedures and invited their friends and families. At the same time, Julia wore her white gown and waited for her fiancé, who arrived on a plane from America. Stas stood to his feet and walked towards Julia, who couldn't believe what she had seen. He ran to the chest of her lover, whom she had felt she had lost forever just a few days before. The young couple marched together to the altar, where their marriage was ordained, and they lived the most joyful hours of their lives. Then they settled and raised their family. Let me tell you another story about two people who, like the previous story, love each other beyond everything. Meet Kevin, who suffered a tragic accident that turned out to be more serious. People break their legs regularly. Broken limbs are a natural occurrence and can usually be treated with surgery or a cast. Most people don't want their legs broken, but for Kevin, he wanted to be in a cast. In fact, he anticipated being in a cast for a few weeks to help his legs to recover after breaking his leg by accident. However, things took a turn for the worse when Kevin noticed something was wrong with his leg. Kevin's fractured leg had turned into something serious, and it was very unusual after he went to the hospital for a checkup. His leg deteriorated after physicians informed him that he had developed reflex sympathetic dystrophy, a nerve disease, RSD. Chronic pain is a symptom of the condition caused by weakened tissue and a malfunctioning sympathetic nervous system. Worse, doctors said to him that he had the worst case of RSD that they'd ever seen. That's never a positive thing when it comes to getting up on your feet. He went to the hospital once a month for the last 10 years. It was clear that action was needed. Certain illnesses cannot be managed, and his RSD was severe enough that amputation was the only solution. Of course, he could keep his knee, but that would mean he'd be in excruciating pain for the rest of his life. That was something he didn't want to happen. He took the courageous decision to amputate the leg in 2009. Kevin was unable to walk as a result of the amputation and was in a wheelchair. He never cried, and he kept his morale high. "The way I see things, it could always be worse," he said. It's been said that after you reach rock bottom, it's going to get better. Although Kevin's leg was amputated, things were about to change in ways he could never imagine. One day, he met his future wife, Kim Didway. Kevin said that his life had changed in an instant after that. His smile hypnotized Kim. "It was love at first sight the first time I met her," Kevin said. But will she be able to cope with his disability? That's what Kevin keeps thinking. She didn't care about his condition when they agreed to marry a few months after meeting because, as she said, what's inside each person removes any components that's missing. Kevin set out to give his fiancée a huge surprise to repay all of Kim's affection, and we can testify that it was in the video you can see the whole story of Kim and Kevin. The syndrome is complicated to live with as well. Kevin had the most severe form of reflex dystrophy, which requires him to attend the hospital every 2 months. The doctors decided that they couldn't save his legs. Kevin was forced to use a wheelchair after that, but he managed to enjoy life to the fullest with a constant smile on his face, especially now that he has Kim on his side making everything fine. It was now time to start planning the wedding. They meticulously arranged every detail, and all was in place for a beautiful and loving wedding. Still, Kim had no idea that Kevin had lied to her behind her and that he had gone to a physiotherapist and trained with bone prosthesis. Kevin decided to surprise Kim by showing his true love and feelings for her at the wedding. His ambition was to be able to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day. He imagined at the time that the priest would order everyone to rise, and he imagined that he would be able to do so as well. However, learning to walk without a leg is difficult. It was almost time for the big day. Kevin sat calmly in his chair in front of the altar. His suit and trousers looked dapper. As the music started to play, the bride began her walk down the aisle. When her eyes found him, her face lit up with a smile. She knew she was marrying the right man, considering his physical flaws. Kim went to the altar, and when the priest ordered everyone to get up, which Kevin did, Kim couldn't believe what she saw. The tears welled up in her eyes and rolled down her face as she hugged Kevin. He wanted his wedding day to be the best day of his life. Will you still love a person if they became disabled? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Before leaving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications of our future content. With that being said, see you in the next one.